Hi there and welcome back to Charlie and the Mini Factory. So, you've put everything together. The model is complete, it's green stuffed so there are no more seams on there. You've managed to clean off all the mold lines and all that jazz. All that's left to do is paint it. But before you can paint it, there's one more step, and that is where this comes in. This is primer. It's one of the most important things in order to make your paint permanently stick to the model. So I'm going to show you how to apply it, why you apply it, and why I think this brand is the best primer. So, see you there. Hello, hello. Hi there guys, so I'm going to show you how to prime. Now, the primer I use is Vallejo Black Primer. It's fantastic for a number of reasons. One, it's got great coverage. Two, it has a shrinking effect, so it actually molds itself around the model, which means it's far rarer to get those kind of splotchy areas of primer build-up, which you can get if you use rattle cans or something. So I'm going to show you two ways of applying it. The first one is going to be simply by brush. This is how I started priming my models, because I started painting during lockdown and I couldn't go outside to do spraying with rattle cans, so I found a brush on and it works brilliantly. I do it for every single one of my models. So I'll show you how to do the brush version, and then I'll show you how to apply it with an airbrush afterwards. So I'm going to start off with this small model first. This is a Samurai Tiger from Miniatures Blueprint. I'm sure it does have a proper name. I'll get that and I'll put a link to it in the comments underneath. But with the primer, you've got to make sure, first off, that it is shaken up properly. Now you're probably wondering why I have a shot glass. It's so I can shot my primer in between takes. No, it's because, first off, it's a great little area for the primer to go into. But also, because of the way that the shot glass is made, if for whatever reason I need to leave the primer for an extended period of time, then I know that the primer, because of that, because of the way it's built there, the primer's not going to dry up as quickly. So I can do some priming, come back a bit later, do some more. Whereas if I did it on an open palette, it's much more likely to dry up quicker. So with this, all you need, simple brush. I've got a good Marge Simpson knockabout brush here. Dip it in, get some primer on there, and it is as simple as paint it on the model. Get in all the nooks and crannies. That's why you have this knockabout brush, so it doesn't matter if you're pushing it into all of these corners. I'm simply going to do that all across the model. If you do it particularly thick like I did just then, just keep, instead of refilling your brush from the pot, just keep going back to that area, spreading that paint around until it's all primed. There. And you can either leave it and come back to it. I'll probably leave that until the rest of it is dried and then fill in any gaps. You know, when it shrinks, when the paint shrinks into place, you'll then notice that you missed a spot or two here or there, so it's easy to come back to. Anyway, I'll show you what that looks like. Next, I'm going to show you how to airbrush the primer. So now I'm going to show you how to prime with an airbrush. Now my airbrush is on already, got a little mixing palette here, and all we're going to do is pour some into there. This is usually if you've got a much bigger model, so I've got this gigantic model of Carlac here, and you know, I could brush it on, but it's going to be a lot of brushing and I just want to kind of get it done. So you take the primer, add a little bit of thinner, not too much, maybe about half of what you put in already, because the primer is actually quite thin already. Mix that up, your little thing, clean your brush off. And now that your airbrush is here, it's very, very simple. All you do, pour it into the cup on here. Now I'm obviously going to need more, but just to show you quickly, I'm just going to grab the model and there we go. And we're just going to do that across the entire model. Once it's done, because it is thinner, and you can see on the back here that it hasn't properly gone on, we just need to do a second coat. Just to show you what it looks like at the end, this is when it has dried. As you can see, just painting that on, you can still see all the details really, really well under there. All the cuts and grooves on the sword. Let's have a quick look at that base. Really, really simple. That's all there is. What I would recommend is that once the primer is on, that you leave it for at least 12 hours. So if you're bored one evening and you decide you just fancy watching some TV but you want to do something hobbyish at the same time, maybe prime up a load of models, go to bed, and when you wake up the next day they are ready to paint. Now that's not an absolute hard and fast rule. If you decide that you do want to do some painting, to be honest, when it's at this stage you can probably get away with starting the painting, but I would recommend leaving it for 12 hours, so going to bed on it is a really good idea. Anyway guys, that's it for priming. We'll see you on the next one. Please make sure to like, subscribe, share, tell your friends if you think this was useful. If you want to see any other kind of prep tutorials or anything you think might be useful, please let me know in the comments. I'll see you later. Bye.